a layer of dark carbon that seems to indicate a mass fire.
Yes.
And that where the animals are, it's so unusual that there are so many bones in this same sort of layer that exist in one place.
Yeah.
That something had to happen for them to all die in that one spot. And this is something that Randall Carlson has pointed out before. They found the other places where I forget where the other places were. Was it Siberia where they found massive amounts of mammoths that were all in one area that seemed to have died instantaneously? Some of them with like broken leg bones seemed to have died because of an impact or the force of the impact.
Well, like I told you last time, I think it's all secondary deposition from water. Because there's such a wide spectrum of them and very few mummified remains, although we found some this summer. And I think I told you last year that the oldest sample we took was 22,000 years old. And some people, I have that Ice Age Fossil Works buy little shards of ivory. And I told the one guy, I said, why don't you carbon date it if you want to know the story? So he sent it off to a lab and had it carbon dated, 40,000 years old.
Wow.
So there might be enough in there for 2 dryas events.
Which is probably likely.
Could have.
Yeah, what Randall and Graham Hancock, what they believe, and the Younger Dryas impact theory proponents believe, is that distinctly something around 11,800 years ago, and then maybe something also around 10,000 years ago. But that doesn't preclude or that doesn't dismiss the idea that there could have been 30,000 years, 40,000 years. There could have been multiple events.
Could have been.
And because of this time that we pass through this comet shower, it's every June and November, I believe.
And I've posted that picture before of the burnt bedrock and the gravel above it.
Yes. See if you can find that photo, Jamie, because that's fascinating too, because that seems to indicate that something massive happened.
Something did happen.
Yeah.
And the problem with this deposit, now, I got to be careful what I say after last time.
What would you do?
When I was here with you last time.
Did you get crazy? What'd you say?
I'm afraid I bullshitted you a little bit.
In what way?
Because when I got back to Fairbanks, my surveyor comes up to me. His name's Albert. He says, you got a lot of nerve bullshitting them like that. I said, what are you talking about? He said, you told him the site that you dug all these up in is 5 acres. I said, yeah. He goes, it's 2.1 acres.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to tell him I'm sorry. So, Joe,
it's even small. Well,
I apologize.
That's actually even more insane, right? So do you think that this is like the water had washed these bodies into a very specific area?
I think there's a bigger system of water in play that we don't really understand yet. When we started going up the gulch, it's what it is a gulch, and it's about, well, the way I can describe it, it's sure is narrow, but it sure is long. So this year we decided, let's go back to the beginning. And we moved the pump and everything back down to where we started 15, 16 years ago. Thinking, okay, let's see how wide this is. As soon as we started doing it, we started finding more tusks, more animal parts, more of everything. And we found those crazy sawed bones.
Yeah, the crazy sawed bones are very interesting.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because we've showed photos on the podcast before, and that these sawed bones, now you have carbon dated them, and they're to when? Here they are.
Yeah. You're not going to believe this, because we got all excited when we found them.
Yeah.
Plus or minus 200 years. Or 190 years.
So what kind of animal are these from?
I don't know.
But they're 200 years old.
190. Here, I brought one with me.
Oh, really?
This is the story about how these were found. Is I got a call one day. I was out there at the boneyard. My daughters have a tourist business around the corner a little bit called Gold Daughters. And Elora called me up and goes, Dad, there's a state trooper over here wanting to talk to you. And I look around my truck to see what I got in it. I said, okay, I'll be right over. I go over. And we had some stuff going on at the time. And I didn't think there was any reports filed any place. But I go over there and introduce myself to this guy, and his name's Eric Spitzer. He's the head state trooper in Fairbanks. He says, I was just out in the neighborhood. I wanted to come by and introduce myself. I saw you on Joe Rogan's podcast. I love fossils. I love what this is all about. My kids like to look for bones, and I take them out in the woods and we look for stuff, and I just wanted to come by and introduce myself. And the excitement in just him talking to me. I said, well, follow me over. I'll go show it to you right now. So he went over to the boneyard. He got out and he looked around. He just couldn't believe it. He picked up some bone parts. I said, well, now you're a boner. You just got to find one. And we bullshit a little bit. He goes, do you mind if I bring my kids out sometime? I said, bring them out this weekend. We'll fire the pumps up. I'll turn you guys loose, and then we'll come check on you once in a while. And they found a pallet or two full of bones, little fragments, leg bones, and then they came back the next weekend. They found a mammoth tusk, and they found these sawed bones, a few of them. We got 15 of them now that they found. And so I told everybody that those bones are now called the Spitzer finds. His two little young daughters found them. Sometimes it just takes a new set of eyes. I don't know how many of those we've picked up in the past, but we never looked at it that way. So I brought one with me.
All right.
This is the one that I carbon dated.
And so this is the one that's 200 plus years old.
Right. Now you see that notch right there? That's what I cut out to send in to get carbon dated.
And so this is, this is some sort of a joint. Is that a femur? Is that the top of a femur?
The lady Jeanette Rhymes, a Dakota huntress, she thinks it's a moose leg bone. But set it on its end there, other end.
Okay.
Now, 200 years ago, what kind of utility would that have to do that?